What's going on? It's your boy DameSmiff, and today I'm going to talk to you guys about simplifying food tracking and why it's important. So, if you're interested in conversations like this, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe. So, if you're new to this channel, I just want to give you a quick rundown. This is actually a musician's channel, but this particular musician has gotten an interest into fitness and food, and it's simply because it helps me be a better musician. So, if you are interested in music and things like that, this is the channel for you. But if you're interested in fitness like that, this is also the channel for you because I will be exploring things like that. And so, food tracking, if you're brand new to food tracking, you don't know what it is, you've never heard of it, and it's something like you're just like, whoa, what are you even talking about? If you don't know what food tracking is, it's simply something that you do every day to just tell yourself what you're eating. That's all it is. And the misconceptions about food tracking come from typically the bad habits we've already had and trying to figure them out and navigate through them. And then we realize a lot of people have these same habits. But one of the common ones is that it's going to help you develop some kind of like bad eating disorder. Food tracking is tedious, it's boring, and things like that. And you hear all these bad things. Look, the reason you have these feelings about the task of tracking your food is because you haven't grasped the value in the results it gives you. I will say that again. That basically means that you don't value food tracking because you don't value what food tracking gives you. So, if I were to sit here and tell you guys, hey, you want to lose weight, you should go jog and run on the treadmill. That might work. It might actually work. And you would only really know it works is if you get up and do it, right? And so any critiques you might have to running or getting on the treadmill would really come from a place of experience or a place of projection, meaning you are hoping that you're right and you're not really sure. So I'm going to show you or explain to you some of my experiences when it comes to food tracking, what I've learned about food tracking, and help you kind of understand the options you have when it comes to food tracking so it's not tedious, it's not boring, and hopefully you don't develop a eating disorder through food tracking. So how do you food track and what is it simply? Well, you can do it in the most basic form ever. Like you can just get a journal, piece of paper, pen, and write breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, and I guess drinks on a piece of paper and literally just write down what you do. You don't have to do the amounts. You don't have to worry about, nutrients or things like that. If you just want to get the basic knowledge of just what the hell am I putting in my body, that's as simple as you can do it. You can do that every day. I encourage you to do it every day, but you can do it every day. You can do it on just the weekends or just when are not eating at home or only when you're eating at home. Find ways to track something, right? And that's a good start. But you also have to know why that's important. So if you have like a medical diagnosis or things like that, then of course you want to consult first with your doctor or your physician and things like that, or your nutritionist. But the things you want to do with food tracking and or the things that food tracking can help you with is understanding how your body reacts to your favorite foods or how your body's reacting to the food you eat in general. Because you could be eating something that's not helping you. And food tracking will kind of shine a light on what that is and maybe shine a light on what it's doing to your body. So now we know, your favorite breakfast is pancakes. When you ate for lunch, you had a chicken sandwich, and then for dinner, you had a salad, and throughout the day, you maybe had two sodas and a water, right? So now we know that. But the things that are missing there are going to really make the difference in how fast you reach your fitness goals. So that's the basics of food tracking, just figuring out what the hell are you eating every day. So now the next thing you're going to have to figure out if it's important for your goals, like if you say you want to lose 20 pounds or you want to build muscle or you want to, tone your body up in shape. Now, along with what you're eating, you have to figure out how much of it you're eating. How much of the things you're eating give you energy, give you the nutrients you need, or give you some kind of like satisfaction for the day. Because eating is a pleasurable experience, it's meant to be enjoyed, and you don't want it to feel like a chore. Like how I'm breathing right now, it feels natural. I don't have to think. But if I had to sit here and tell myself, hey, take a breath, yo, take a breath, I'd be stressed a lot. And I'd be a lot more stressed if I missed a couple breaths. So that's the key thing you want to remember. This is just about learning, being informed, being educated on yourself, and making sure you're in control and aware of the things you're doing with and for your body. And so, like I said, if you specifically have a goal of, I want to lose weight, I want to get to a certain number on the scale. Now, along with what you're eating, you're going to figure out how much you're eating. So if in the morning, you know you're eating a big breakfast, and then by the time evening comes around, you're starving, we can kind of figure that out through tracking. If we, let's say, track for 7 days and we realize 5 out of those 7 days, you eat a big breakfast. And through that, we also ask, well, I feel kind of tired usually by the end of the day, most days of the week. Now we can kind of figure out, well, okay, let's see what options we have. What if we move that big breakfast to a medium sized breakfast and spread it throughout the day? Maybe that'll affect our energy levels. So then we try it again for 7 more days. We just eat whatever we want, but the amounts are adjusted. So if we were eating pancakes and cereal and whatever, cookies, sweets, and whatever else, but we just don't eat as much of it for these 7 days. And then we kind of see, okay, when the evening comes around, I may have a little more energy, but I'm still having cravings. Now we're starting to see changes and adjust and things like that. And this is a point that is really helpful for our coach or maybe our doctor or a physician or a dietitian. They can use this information to help make adjustments for whatever plans and goals they have for you. And so the next thing, once we realize, okay, so I'm eating food that is giving me enough energy, like I'm not no longer feeling tired, but I'm not seeing the scale go down. So the next thing we can figure out is, how do human bodies lose weight or burn body fat or build muscle? How do we change these things, right? So we have to be intentional, and we also have to be very clear on our goals, which is again why I'm going to reiterate, you need to talk to your coach or your doctor and figure out what is it that you specifically want to do, and confirm it with them the safest ways to do it. And I'm talking about food tracking just so you can understand how food relates to these goals, right? But there's a lot of things that go into how your body changes its shape, changes its look, and especially how you feel about your body. But today we're talking about food tracking. And so if we know that we're eating a certain amount of food that's giving us good energy, but we're not seeing the scale move, then we have to think about what makes the scale move. So usually when people are burning fat, that comes from moving more than they're eating. And that's said simply, but I want to kind of explain it in a way that's simple but yet clear. What that simply means is, if I eat 2,000 calories in a day and I wind up moving my body enough to burn 2,500 calories, then that means I have lost 500 total calories of the amount of food that I've eaten. That means I am in a deficit. You'll hear that word a lot. Deficit is just a word that really focuses more about numbers, but it just tells you that if you've eaten 200 or 2,000 calories, but you've burned 2,500, this gap right here is the deficit that you want to be in as far as your goal. This can go for money, this can go for any other mathematical situation. That word deficit is just that space between where you want to be and where you are. And so if you are eating too little calories, like if you're only eating 1,000, but you wind up burning 2,500 calories, then that means you are in a very big deficit, which means your body is going to be affected in a very intense way, which usually comes out to like you're burning uh, body fat quickly, or maybe you're burning other things that need your energy levels, like other nutrients and things like that are being used because you're not putting food in your body. So now you have to worry about, making sure there's a balance in that deficit to where it's healthy and not to a point to where you're actually harming yourself. Because there is a time where you're eating too little and there's a time where you're eating too much, and then both ends of the spectrum can be harmful. So I'll give you an example on the other side of the spectrum. So let's say you're eating 3,000 calories, but you're only burning 2,500. So in this example, if you're eating 3,000 calories and you're only burning 2,500 calories, that means you're in what's called a surplus. And a surplus, just like in math, is one of those vocabulary terms that is used just around numbers to kind of explain where you are and where you want to be. And so now that you are eating more calories than you're burning, that means this space right here is going to make your body hold on to nutrients or hold on to extra calories because you're not burning them. You still have them there. So, in order for that to happen, you'd have to burn more calories for your body to no longer hold on to what's left. So, the reason you have to understand that basic concept and principle right there is because it's going to make getting to your goal a little clearer. Even if it's not fast or it's difficult for you, you will have a way to understand where you are and why you're there. So if you're tracking your food for 3 weeks and your scale hasn't moved, then you can understand, okay, maybe the deficit is not big enough, or maybe the deficit, or maybe I'm just not in a deficit. Maybe there's something missing as far as what I'm putting into my food journal, or maybe there's something missing as far as how much I'm moving in a day and things like that. You can figure that out now. Now you can see what's in front of you, and that's what the value of food tracking is. And so, like I said, if you want to lose weight, you want to be in a deficit, and then if you want to gain weight or hold on and maintain weight, you want to be in a surplus or near surplus. And so you've heard these terms before, especially if you've looked up this kind of concept before. But the reason I'm explaining it now is because I want you to understand the value it brings to understanding this, and the value understanding this brings to tracking your food, and how much easier it will be for you to start reaching your goals. And so I'll give you, I guess, a bit of a bonus tip too. This is kind of an important tip because this is why it's important to have a coach and a trainer. There are times where you need to not be in a deficit for weight loss. And there are times where you need to not be in a surplus for weight gain. And these are typically called phases that your trainer or training program will put you through, where your body needs to lose a little bit of weight, but now it needs to maintain, recover, and repair for it to be strong enough to where if you lose a little bit more weight, you're not weak and you're not missing nutrients and things like that. That's why it's very key to work with a doctor and a physician who understands these things on a deep, deep level and can walk you through these steps, either each day or just kind of give you a plan that you can follow. And so the last part of food tracking that is really going to bring a lot of value to you are the nutrients. So once you get into knowing what you're eating, how much you're eating, and whether or not you're eating too much or too little, now you can figure out whether or not the types of foods are beneficial. So now, are you eating foods that are helping your cells repair, helping your eyes blink and make your organs recover when you go to sleep? Or are you eating foods that are just calories? Like there's no nutritional value to it, but it does give you the energy of, let's say, like French fries or something. Like you can eat French fries or you can eat a baked potato, both of which are the same ingredient, but because they're prepared differently and because they have like a different process to get to a meal form or a form where you're going to actually eat it, they wind up having different results for the nutrients that's provided for your body. Another example would be a simple one, like if I gave you an ice cream cone or a salad. The ice cream cone feels good, has a lot of calories, but the ingredients that make up ice cream don't really benefit you as much as it would a salad. Now, if you were to just sit and think about it, most people would choose ice cream because it feels good, but the salad would get you better results. And that's the power that tracking your food gives you. It literally gives you the power to say, I'm going to make this decision or I'm going to make this other decision. And that's the part that really gets people to worry about the bad parts of food tracking, because now you get to see, okay, I could go get pizza today for lunch or for dinner, but if I don't do that, I can get better results. And that connection to, or that relationship to getting your results and your work ethic tends to lead people through bad habits. So I'll give you an example. I'm sure you've been on your fitness journey and you've searched up different recipes and things like that, and you come across the joke of like a bodybuilder putting like ground beef, cottage cheese, and like maple syrup into a blender and then drinking it like a smoothie. The joke behind that is that this person clearly has an eating disorder and they're eating ridiculous food to meet their goals. But the logic behind it is that food doesn't need to be pleasurable in order for you to get to your goals. And that's where your relationship with food is going to start to really show its ugly face. Meaning, when you're eating your food before tracking, were you thinking about whether or not food tasted good, felt good, or did anything for you? Or were you just eating whatever was in front of you? And that's usually something people figure out later in life. But if you pay attention to like younger diets, people in high school, college, and things like that, we usually eat foods that are new, trendy, or available, not necessarily um, efficient for our goals. So if you're like in college and you want to be a football player, it probably took for like your parents or your coach to tell you, hey, you need to start drinking protein shakes. But for most people, we just eat what's offered or what's available. Meaning, like if McDonald's is down the street and I only have enough for a dollar menu burger, that's odds are what I'm gonna get. The thought process of going through, I'm gonna take this same dollar and turn it into like an apple. Most people aren't gonna do that because it's just not as enticing, it's not sexy. And two, the second part of building bad habits is realizing that which options are bad for you. And food tracking will then show you that a lot of your options are bad. Meaning, in our McDonald's example, if you were to get a dollar cheeseburger, probably $2 now, but if you get a really cheap cheeseburger, it gives you higher calories, um, different nutrients that make you feel full, but don't satisfy your goal. And that's what we mean by bad. It's not getting you to your goal. It's satisfying a immediate need, like you're hungry and you're no longer hungry, but it doesn't get you the nutrients your body needs to help you get abs or to keep you fueled for the next 2 or 3 hours to help you burn fat properly. And so once you learn that, that can be a little jarring, a little overwhelming, and sometimes scary for people because now you realize, damn, I do have a kitchen full of crap and I got to make a difference. But if this was interesting to you and you want me to dig more into food tracking and the benefits of it, let me know and I'll make more videos like this. This is just simply to kind of shine a light on what I've learned about food tracking and things like that. So I'm out.